Hello everybody, so it's time for another challenge. It's going to be the Crossbow Master 2 Megapops on, what is this map again? Ancient Portal, yeah, that's it. The really easy map. In fact, I realized this map would be way too easy for this challenge, like a good amount of time in. So I decided instead of just restarting it and going for another map, I decided I'll just add some things to make the challenge a lot harder, a little bit down the line. But anyways, I'm putting Dart right here. It's kind of important on these 2 Megapops to find like a spot where Alk can be like tightly put away so it wouldn't really steal too many pops. Like if you put Alk in a spot that's kind of further up and will be attacking a lot of the Moabs at the start of the track, it probably can get 10,000 pops pretty easily, which is something that you don't want. So at least having something like this will be good. I can throw Alk like farther away. Even just sacrificing the optimal positioning a little bit to have Alk in a better spot could really be worth it. So we did that, and I'm just gonna go straight for like the sharpshooter. There's really no issues doing it. Again, this map is pretty easy, so this early game is going to be very straightforward, and I can just get Geraldo later. And then from there, I grab the Alchemist, just a village, and save up into Crossbow Master. So let's get that, and I'll come back a bit later, probably a little more when something interesting happens. I kind of speed through the mid game pretty quickly. So on the way to Crossbow Master, there were 2 rounds where I needed a bit more Pierce, 47 and 49. For 47, we could get that done literally just by putting a Sharpstone on the Sharpshooter. And then 49, I just put a glue right there, and all those ceramics got glued down. Worked out pretty well. 50 got a little bit close there with those leads coming in, but I get Crossbow Master just right at the end, so all of that's done, and now it's time to move on. Kind of about here is where I realized, like, oh, this is just like far too easy of a map, so I decided to put the challenge of no middle path village in. So that's a pretty big deal because you lose a lot of Pierce and a lot of attack speed with the middle path village banned. But with that being said, I then figure that's still too easy, so somewhere like in the late 80s, I just decided I'm not going to spend any more money, and that's kind of how we're going to roll. So we're going to be ending up finishing this without a middle path village, so like no attack speed, no extra Pierce, and like 65,000 cash spares, so it's going to be a bit crazy. I use a few Geraldo items in the late game, and I have a really cool solution for round 100 that you just absolutely love. So that's pretty much how it's going to roll out. And I just grab a few more support towers. The absolute zero is really the big thing. It's such a strong tower, and it's really going to be helping a lot, just pushing everything back. Just a few Geraldo items, a relentless glue, and I believe that's like literally just about it. So I'll come back in the late 90s just to say what's going on there. So in the 90s, a lot of the rounds were a bit tricky-ish. Not like necessarily tricky to beat, it just took a bit of persistence because I really needed to use that absolute zero ability a lot. I also wanted to have at least one rejuve for later, like if I needed on 98, 99, or 100, that'd be good to have there. I put the Jerry Fire 2. I also didn't want to use all of these totems on round 95, so I'd at least have some up for 98 because I feel like some would be pretty important for 98. 95 took a few tries, and I ended up having to use a rejuve here, I believe, yeah, right there, to get another absolute zero just to slow down the DDTs, or too many. For 99, I actually didn't need one because I could just absolute zero win all of them when they're on screen, because there's only it's 9 DDTs on 95 if I believe correctly. Yeah, 945 DDTs. 96 was pretty easy because all that totems was there. 98 was just a lot of spamming the stuff. I get Geraldo's spikes in the back to help like clean up any leaking stuff because I do have a ton of pops that can be taken, so I decided that's kind of just the cheapest way to get through some of these rounds. I was thinking of using some blade traps, which I didn't, which was a good idea because I kind of needed a lot of pops for 100. I'm not buying anything to be able to beat 100, so we're going to be using it with Geraldo genies, which might sound kind of crazy because these steal a lot of pops, especially those ZMGs on the inside, which is what you need to take out in order to get the last push through. So 98, I was surprised that I was actually able to beat it with just this. I just spammed the button, used Rejuvenal, and we just carry right through it. But basically the cool thing that I was talking about for 100 is that there's a change at some point, I forget when, but the Geraldo genies, they do a figure, it's a figure 8 pattern, yes, a figure 8 pattern around where they're placed. So what I did is I just placed them way up at the top, so they only do a figure 8 pattern at the top. So when the bad's like looping around the top up there, it gets tacked by the genies, but when it opens up and where all like the insides that you need to get that last little bit, because then that's where Pierce is involved, that's where all the pops is, then they won't be attacking and Crossbow Master can clean it up. So we basically have the genies way up there, flying around at the top, just take out the bad, and then when it pops open, we should be good to go. They still attack the ZOMGs, but when they all break into ceramics right there, they get stuck in the ice, and we can do it and win with 8,000 pops left over and 65,000 cash bear, which is pretty cool. I think that was an adequate challenge.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!